child's mind is a beautiful thing. It can be changed, reordered, perfected, and with so little effort.
You want to see her again?
In a moment. You say she was allowed time off when her grandfather died?
Yes, just a few weeks.
They were close then?
I think so. She was obviously upset.
How old was he?
In his 80s. He'd been very ill. I think he'd had a stroke, maybe more than one.
Upsetting, as you say.
Shall I get her? Mr. Curtis?
Please, yes. Hello again, Lucy. Miss James has been telling me about your grandfather. You must have been very upset when he died. My mother died a few weeks ago, Lucy. It's always sad to lose somebody you love, isn't it? My mother had been very ill for a long time. She was in a lot of pain. And towards the end, she wasn't really herself. Her mind had started to go, you see. She spent a lot of time talking to my father, only he wasn't really there. He's been dead for many years. In the end, I was able to stop her suffering. The doctors allowed me to help her to die. Very quickly, very painlessly, just like going to sleep. It was the only thing I could do for her. It made me very sad to do it, but now I know it was the right thing. It was the kind thing to do. Just like you were being kind to your grandfather. He was very ill. He probably knew he was dying. And that's a very lonely thing to know that you're dying. But you did the kindest thing you could. You sat with him and you talked to him, and most importantly, you listened to him, didn't you? You listened to his stories.
Yes.
It must have meant a great deal to your grandfather. He must have really valued the time you spent with him. That's why he told you those stories about the lorries. Stories. To keep you there, to keep you listening.
What?
I'm not saying that your grandfather was a liar. I'm sure he wasn't. I'm saying that he was a sick, lonely old man, desperate for company, for an audience.
That's not true!
It is true, Lucy. I'm sorry, but it is. And you know how I know?
How?
Because it never happened. None of it. The lorries, the gunfire, the smoke. It didn't happen. It couldn't have happened.
And why would he say it?
You study history at this school, don't you, Lucy?
Yes.
So you've studied the period your grandfather talked about, the war, is that right?
Yes.
Tell me what you know. Tell me about, let's see, Churchill. Tell me about him.
He was
Yes.
a liar.
Go on.
He lied to make us fight the Germans.
What did he say?
He said the Germans were evil and wanted to kill us all.
And what was the truth?
The Germans were our friends. They were just like us.
They wanted to help us, didn't they?
Yes.
They wanted to save us.
Yes.
And who did they want to save us from?
Our enemies. Theirs and ours.
And who were our enemies? Who are our enemies? Have you learnt this part?
We did this last year, remember, Lucy?
Yes. Who are our enemies? Our enemies have many faces and many names.
What is a communist?
A communist is a thief. He wants to steal what is ours. A communist is an enemy.
What is a liberal?
A liberal is a coward. He is too weak to defend what is right, too arrogant to admit that he is wrong. A liberal is an enemy.
What is a homosexual?
A homosexual is a
Degenerate.
degenerate. A homosexual is degenerate.
Good, good.
He spreads perversion, weakness and disease. A homosexual is an enemy.
What is a race criminal?
A race criminal is a traitor. He breeds with other races, taints their blood and brings about their destruction. A race criminal is an enemy.
What is a Jew?
A Jew is God's curse on humanity. He is a communist, he is a liberal, he is a homosexual, he is a race traitor. The Jew seeks the destruction of Christian civilization because it is in his nature as a malignant parasite. The Jew is the greatest enemy of all.
Very good, Lucy. Very good indeed. Well, there's nothing wrong with your teaching methods, Miss James.
Well done, Lucy.
Why do you think it's important to learn history, Lucy?
To know what's happened?
Exactly. But maybe more importantly, to learn what could have happened. Come over here, Lucy. Look out there. Isn't it beautiful? Your village, where you live. You're extremely lucky to live in a place like this, to have parents who love you, a good school, and to wake up every morning in this beautiful valley. And yet, if you study your history, you'll know that it could have been so very different.
How?
Have you ever seen pictures of America on the television, Lucy?
Sometimes.
Those poor people, crammed into those vast, horrible cities. People of every colour, dark, stinking streets. Drugs and alcohol, crime and disease mixing their blood. Breeding children like unwanted puppies. Poor little creatures, better they'd never been born. I'm sorry, Lucy. It's something that makes me really angry. My job is to protect children, to make sure you're taught properly and looked after. And when I hear, well, it gives me nightmares, I don't mind admitting. Did you know that even now in America, there are those, Jews for the most part, there are those who try to prove that things like what your grandfather described, and worse, far worse, they try to prove that things like that actually happened during the war. They write books and they make films, they spread filth about us. It's not because they're evil, it's just in their nature to taint, to tear down, to destroy. They want to destroy this. They hate it. They hate its purity. We came so close, Lucy, but we were saved. You were saved. In the end, all we know is that there was a war, a terrible war. Many people died because of Churchill and those like him and their lies, but finally we were saved. This is the truth. This is the greater truth, the only truth that really matters. I don't know who this poor creature was. I wish I could have helped her, but I couldn't. I don't know what happened to her. And neither do you. This is the lesser truth. It's sad, but that's the way it truly is. Do you believe me, Lucy? Good. So now, I'm going to ask you to do something very brave for me. Do you think you can do that?
I don't know.
Please, don't let me down. Do you accept that what your grandfather told you was untrue? That even though he believed he saw the things that he described to you, that he was too old and sick to know the difference? Do you see that now, Lucy?
Yes.
Very good. Now there's one last thing I need you to do for me. Take this. Now this is the hardest thing of all. With one quick movement, one quick pull, don't even think about it, I want you to rip that page out and tear it up. Do it now, Lucy. If you don't do this, you put yourself beyond my help. Do this one thing, prove that you understand, and you can leave this room.
Be sensible, Lucy.
You're showing an inability to listen, Lucy. An inability to learn and to act rationally. Do you remember what happens to children with learning difficulties? You make me very sad, Lucy. I so wanted to help you, but I failed. I'm sorry. Miss James, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask. Good, Lucy. Good, good. Well done, Lucy. And now it's done. It's finished. It's over. Over. Do you understand? Miss James, I think I'll have a quick word and then I'm finished here.
Certainly.
Outside, I think.
Of course.
I'm sorry I had to put you through that, Lucy, but it was for your own good. You do understand that now, do you?
Yeah.
Good. And in a minute, you can go back to your friends. Would you like that? Good. Perhaps it's best if I take these, don't you think?
There were more, lots more, in a pit, all sizes, lots of bones, and suitcases and spectacles and shoes and old clothes. Up at Far Shutt. They can't have burnt them all. Perhaps there wasn't time. But there are still places up at Haigh Shutt where the ground looks like it's covered in soot and ash. Black mud with chips of bone in it. Even now, after all the years, why is that? I've seen it, I dream about it, about fires and children in the fires and people in lorries and smoke that's so thick you can taste it, all black and greasy. And I don't want to dream anymore. I don't want to taste the smoke. I don't want to dream about her. I don't want to see her anymore. Take it away, please, just take it away. You said I had to forget what Grandad told me, and I will, I promise. I want to forget this too, please.
Who else have you shown this to?
in my class.
Who in your class? Tell me the truth.
I don't.
I want their names.
Alison Cooper, Jamie Wilm, Maggie Shenton, Anthony Bates.
Find these children.
What?
Now, Miss James.
What do I do with them?
You got a first aid room?
Yes.
Put them there. Lock the door. Then contact the parents. She stays here.
Do I contact her parents?
My people will see to that. It's out of your hands now.
Well, what do I tell the rest of the school? I don't understand.
Curtis here. Inspections, please. This school is now in special measures. Nobody enters or leaves the buildings until I authorise it, staff or students. Understood? Inspections. Curtis. Centre 30580. Yes. Emergency inspection. Highest priority. Immediately. Good. All children to the assembly hall. Keep them there.
What?
When my people arrive, you and your staff will cooperate fully. Do you understand?
Please, this is a good school. I've worked hard.
This
You can't.
school no longer exists.
Is there no chance that we could
What?
just...
Pretend it didn't happen? Pretend that the poison isn't already spreading beyond this room? No, Miss James. This school has failed. It will be destroyed. The community no longer exists. The families will be scattered. Its name will be removed from the maps. Your one hope, Miss James, is to take a full and active role in the destruction of this school. Everything that you built up, all that you've achieved, it must be as though it never existed. Do you understand? Miss James?
Yes, of course.
School bell. Gather the children.
What shall I tell them?
Tell them it's a special assembly. Tell them what you like. All students in the assembly hall in 5 minutes. Now, Miss James. And you will never see your family again. You will never see this place or this village again. In the last few moments before my people arrive, I want you to look at this thing. Look at it, Lucy. This is the truth. Was it worth it? If this is the truth, what an ugly, dirty, destructive thing it is. Isn't it?